Hello, ladies and gentlemen. In this tutorial we're gonna talk about web apps and how to make them. If you don't know, already a web application is just a very simple application that uses a browser as a main screen, and it's entirely, well, not entirely, it's almost all of the application is coded somewhere online with using, I don't know, HTML, PHP, or some other language. You can use whatever language you like. For example, this is a list of blogs I made. Top tech news. This is a web application, and there's a very nice website that's called jQuery Mobile Gallery, and you can see here all sorts of web applications. Just one second. So jQuery Mobile is number one, I think, in web application development languages, and as you can see, its trend is very high, very ascendant, and we'll use jQuery Mobile to learn how to do it. And let's take a look. For example, this is a web app. It looks a little odd on a normal monitor, but I assure you on a mobile device it looks really cool. Okay, so let's get to it. Before we get started, just type in Google Android developers web apps, and you should get here. So if we click dev guide and here web applications, web apps overview, just go to this page, and there are really few sentences. Just read all of them, okay? Just skim through them, and we'll continue after you do this. So pause the video now, and really it's very few information, and just read all of this, okay? So pause the video now, and we'll continue after you finish. Good. Now that you finished reading, you can head to jQuerymobile.com, and if you click the docs, actually here are demos. Okay, so just look a little bit through it, so you'll get a basic idea how to use them. You see, it already has a lot of cool functions already installed. For example, this filter here, and before we get started, you must have some place online to upload a web page. I think you already have it. Okay, so let's just copy paste this basic example. Oh, come on. Okay, and let's put it in our web page. And after you upload it, it should look something like this. Okay, so let's just get something a little bit more complex. For example, let's put this page over here. Okay, So and now it should look something like this. Okay, so I just copy paste, you just click view page source, and here is an iframe, I think, and you'll end up with something like this. It has very cool controls already optimized for mobile development, so they are easy to click with a finger. And now let's create some interaction in Android with this form. Okay, so let's start a new Android project. So sorry, where is it? Okay, so web app tutorial, and of course we'll use 4.0. Let's modify the manifest with a minimum version, minimum SDK version. Okay, so remember to always do this first. Oh, come on already. Okay, let's put 7. Of course, this is a web app, so you'll need the internet permission. What? What is this? Okay, now it should work. It just needed a little bit more time to auto build it. So let's edit the internet permission. Where is it? Okay, and you'll probably want to use cache in your web application. So let's add right external storage as well. Okay, good. Now in our main layout, let's just drag a web view. Okay, so let's declare it. You'll see it's very simple. Okay, and let's enable it for JavaScript. I think it's already enabled, so let's just, you see, I don't know this shit by heart. I already have the code written in some application. I spent some time, so let me just pause the video and I'll also copy paste the code for you. Okay, so I've got all the code here. As you can see, I don't know this shit by heart, so I just copy pasted from other projects I worked on, and you should do that as well, so you won't waste any more time and remember or forgot how to, for example, set the scroll bars inside overlay code. What the fuck is this? Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, so just to start, go to manifest and just put the install location, prefer external. Okay, because if you can see here, we'll use a cache and just not load the memory of the phone with 12 megabytes of cache. Okay, so let's take it step by step. Okay, so first I declared the web view here. Then I get the settings for this web view. I set JavaScript enabled. Then I set the cache to 12 megabytes. Okay, then I set my own WebView client. I overwritten the default one. Why is that? Why I extended this? Because I don't want to allow users to access through my applications other websites. Okay, so this is a security measure. If I forgot in my application and put a link to an external website, for example, I want to start a new browser. Okay, so I want the browser to start, not from inside the application. Just put it here. I'll give you the code, and it's also on developer if you dig a little bit deeper. But okay, so here I override the back button, so the application it doesn't make any sense to go back to a previous activity or something, but it does make sense to go back in the history of the browser. Okay, so I just override on key down, and let's set the background color to black. Okay, and scroll bars inside of the application, so it looks a little bit cooler, and for demonstration purposes we can extend the fading edge length to 20. Well, that being said, it's time to load our web page, so let's just put this in try catch. WebView. Load URL, and let's just copy paste this. Okay, and we should now go ahead and test it. Okay, so let me start an emulator. I'll pause the video until the emulator loads. Okay, now the emulator has started. We can start our application, and here it is. Well, compared to this ginormous display here on the phone, it looks quite good. Okay, so this is quite cool. It works only hard on the emulator, so it has a little bit of iPhone touch if you observe it. I know. Okay, so now what we want to do, we want to take control of to communicate between the app and the Android. So if you remember when I told you to read all this on the third page, you have a section using JavaScript in WebView. Okay, so it tells you to use set JavaScript enabled. Okay, also a notice on security handling page navigation and my WebView class. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to the JavaScript. So what you need to do is to copy paste this code, JavaScript interface, here outside the concrete. And you need to enable it. Okay, bind this here. Okay, WebView 1. Let's just leave it to Android. Okay, so this is it for the Android part. And let's just copy paste this in the browser, in the HTML. So let's go over here, for example. If we click it inside the browser, it doesn't do anything. But if we click it inside here, we should do a page refresh. Okay, so let's make a little button that says page refresh. So we'll need to create that and put it in a menu. So I'll just give you guys the code, all the code after I finish, so we won't waste any more time. Okay, so let me just pause it. Okay, so what I've added, I added a menu. So when you click the menu button on the phone, some info like share or exit or something will appear. So I wanted to do a page refresh because we were storing the page in the cache, and now this button appear here. As you can see up here, it's a fading scroll. I said it's a little bit too much, but just for you guys to see it. Okay, so now when I click the say hello, what is this? Okay, so the problem was with the emulator. It seems that the emulator of 2.3 doesn't work with this shit. Okay, so now I have a new emulator 2.1, and all goes well. So as you can see, I can call from the web page a function in Android. For example, let's say I want to get the device GPS location, or I want to, I don't know, his contacts and all his messages and emails to my server. Or let's say I want to make a picture with a device and send it to my server. I can do that through this web application. Practically I can do a lot. So let's review. Okay, short review. First, you need to read the web application in the developer guide. Web application start from overview, and also you have best practices, and anyway, next you go to jQuery mobile demos and have a look here, and if you see something that you like, you can just click view source and crack it open. Okay, next you could take a look at jQuery mobile gallery and have a look here. There are a lot of pages with very cool web apps. Okay, many of them will just detect that you don't have an Android browser or a smartphone browser and just redirect you to a normal page, but many of them already just stay in the mobile version. Okay, next you have to upload the HTML to a server somewhere. Okay, so after that you just make sure you copy paste these JavaScript files. Okay, and just use a function. You can get the code from here, from building web application WebView. Next you'll need all this code, so I'll just make a post on my blog, and you can just copy paste it from there to your application. Well, that being said, I hope I had given you a big boost in speed learning mobile web applications, because this is speed. Actually, I wasted a couple of days until I reached this level of code, and I wish you all the best. And if you happen to make a web application, I'll be very glad to hear about it, and just post the link on the commentaries. Happy coding!